गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
Success in the outer world alone, without peace in the inner world, is a burden. Similarly, peace in the inner world without success in the outer world is frustration glorified in the words of philosophy. Therefore, what is very essential is we have to have both the things in life. There is nowhere said that we should be all running after the God. Don't run after Him, spare Him. What is required is a proper balance in life. And the external success is the foundation of spiritual success in life. If we are not properly trained to live in the external world, in the inner world we will be an utter failure. Therefore, if we are to attack the world and be successful, the question is, how do we start with? And as we are all Indians, Asians, we all have these shortcut methods. Is there any method by which, without doing anything, we can achieve everything? And because of that, we are all the time struggling to find out the ways and means by which, without efforts, we are able to make a quick buck. And the result is a chaotic existence. Therefore, where I was, probably Calcutta, in West Bengal and Kerala, industrial growth, etc. is almost as good as nothing. The reason is, if you go in these places, other than trade, there is nothing that is done. Trade does not generate wealth. Trade is only the misappropriation of. You buy something for 10 rupees a kg and sell it for 20 rupees a kg and produce the wealth. Where from the wealth will come? So, if we really want to have progress, only by trading and misappropriation, we cannot sustain long in any society. If we want to establish ourselves in this world, two things are essential. First thing, we have to be an economic power. It is said in Sanskrit Subhashit, Sarve guna kanchanam ashrayanti. Rich people have all the good qualities of life because money has that power. Similarly, when something is said by a very rich nation, as we all know, it is always right. And when the truth is declared by a poor nation, it is always ridiculed. Therefore, success in the outer world must not be compromised if we really want to make our life as the most successful one. If we are convinced of this, then the second point comes. Should we start a shortcut method? And those who have earned money without much efforts, they are unable to digest that success. I'll give you examples. This is many places I have seen in the Silicon Valley as well as in our country, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad, where the softies came together and got married. You know who are the softies? There are two. There was something called as Laurel and Hardy, isn't it? That you all know. Similarly, there is to be softies and hardies. Softies means software engineers and hardies means hardware engineers. So these softies came together, got married, and within no time they started earning so much that they can never imagine. And as a result, they got mad after that money, and within a very short period of 1 year, 2 years, they are not compatible to each other. And then logistic, what are the other options? Those who are working on software, they know, they believe only in options one after another. So what is the other possible option? And then for that option, they click and the life becomes distorted. Therefore, anything which grows systematically, anything which grows with the inner strength alone has the lasting effect. For example, if you see the mushroom, yesterday evening you went on that grass lawn for a walk, there was nothing. Next morning you go, there is a mushroom growth. So overnight the mushroom grows, but it doesn't have a strength. Therefore, anything which grows in the rhythm of the natural unfoldment of that particular thing, then alone it has the beauty and it has the lasting ability. Therefore, success in the outer world has to come in our life in a methodical manner, at a proper time, by a proper method. If this does not happen, then what happens? When we want to achieve success by wrong means, what happens? The best example we can see again in Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday I told you, whenever we get success, whatever means we have it, after some time, we start taking things for granted in life. Anybody who has started taking things for granted in life, he does not have confidence. He has overconfidence. Friends, self-confidence is an asset. Overconfidence is a liability. If you see the car or truck accidents, they are normally committed by those people who have a valid driving license and who have been driving for many years. Because once you are all the time on the road lines, we start taking things for granted. You don't worry, I have been driving on this road for last 30 years. Recently I went to Sikkim, and there the person who was driving me in the jeep, he was highly spiritual. When he will do like this, out of that only the spirit will come out. So highly spiritual. And when we went, I said, hey, look here, let us take a rest for some time. Swamiji, don't worry, I am not drunk. I said, no, I am tired. I know you are not drunk. I got full control over myself. I said, I don't have control on my bladder. If you don't stop, I will do it here. He was just going this way, that way, and all that. Swamiji, I am here in this place right from my birth and been driving for now last 40 years. Now I am 65. I know. See, the moment we take things for granted, we are under the influence of overconfidence. And when we are overconfident, we commit mistakes. And those mistakes are costing us our own life. Therefore, this has to be understood very clearly, how it works. Now in Mahabharata, as you all know, Bhagavad Gita appears in the Bhishma Parva from chapter 25 to 42. These 18 chapters from Mahabharata is called as Bhagavad Gita. And the story is very much known that it is a fight between the two brothers belonging to the same family. So it is very much like our home scene. When we see Bhagavad Gita, study Bhagavad Gita, we don't have to go back. How it is possible that the brothers are killing each other? We don't have to worry because this happens in our own houses. So, how it works? When all the efforts to avert the war failed, it was finally decided that war has to be done. No way out. And see how it works. The shrewd politician that Dhritarashtra was, he will not mind to do anything to win over the votes. Whether it is booth capturing, or it is the conscience capturing, or it is playing any dirty trick by which I have to sit in that particular chair. That is why those who are attached to the chair, they are technically called as Dhritarashtra. If you dissolve this word in Sanskrit language, Dhrita means the one who is holding on very firmly. Rashtra means the chair. So those who do not want to leave the chair, once they have occupied, they are called as Dhritarashtra, and all the politicians fall in this category. In Delhi, there was once on one of the holies, I was there. So there was a gathering of joy and all that. And they have conducted some kind of talks or music or mimicry. So in that they called me. Now I neither can dance nor can do mimicry, nor I can sing. So they say, Swamiji, now we will give you a topic. Please talk on that topic. So the topic was given. If you are the Prime Minister of India for one day, what you will do? So I told, I will shift the capital of India from Delhi to Jumri-Talaiya. So, if we have to shift the capital from Delhi to Jumri-Talaiya, then naturally the question came, why? Because all the political turmoil that is constantly present in our country is because of the chair of the Prime Minister, below which is the ghost of Dhritarashtra. From that time, Indraprastha, Hastinapur, New Delhi, they are all synonymous. So that is the Bhumi Dosh. So all the people who go and occupy that, they don't want to leave the chair. They are called as Dhritarashtra. To taste the power and to give up the taste of the power requires inner strength and courage. This when we do not have, we want to achieve our success by any means. So this Dhritarashtra Maharaj, he thought, now in this war, it is very difficult to win. We know. The reason being, the Lord was from the side of the Pandavas, and other than the Lord, everything is from the side of the Kauravas. If we study the details, the military power which was supporting the cause of the Kauravas was stronger than the military power supporting the cause of the Pandavas. Kauravas had, in our local language, 11 battalions, if we can call, and the Pandavas had only 7 battalions. What a big difference. And yet, Dhritarashtra had this doubt. It is not possible because Bhagwan Krishna is from their side. Friends, whenever any person is pure and any person cannot be purchased, people are afraid of such a person. So Dhritarashtra was afraid about the whole scene. But being a shrewd politician, he wanted to see that somehow or the other things are made in favor of his own party. So what he did? He started creating a situation wherein there will be defection from the other party. This is the old story. It is not happening new. Our politicians studied Mahabharata only for breaking the country, not for studying Bhagavad Gita. So, what he did? Suppose tomorrow is the war to begin. Earlier evening, on the battlefield in the tents of the Pandavas, he sent his messenger. For what? Horse trading. Now also it happens, isn't it? We send our friends and our speakers and our representative to the other parties over a cup of tea or the marriage party. Same technique. So he sent Sanjay. And after Sanjay has reached their party, he was briefed properly what he has to say. And then Sanjay started. This is a very important topic to understand the working of human mind. So he started, reach, all the 5 Pandavas were sitting along with Bhagwan Sri Krishna in their tent. Next day the war has to begin. So Sanjay gets in and he says, there is a message from your uncle. Till the war was declared, there was nothing like uncle and auntie. He says, there is a message from your uncle and he has great concern for all of you because he loves you so much. So a ground is prepared. And then, look here, you are all good people. You have been always walking the path of righteousness. You have all the ability and courage and inner strength because of which you can create another New Delhi. So why fight for this particular place that this alone you want? And if we have this war fought, you know what will happen? Our own party will be destroyed. Let the nation be destroyed. Party should not be destroyed. So, therefore, kindly don't fight this war. And as regard my own children are concerned, Duryodhan Ityadi, they are terrible monsters. They don't listen to me. Naturally, I can only talk to those who are listening to me. So, your uncle tells, it is my earnest request, O my great children, that you withdraw from this war and stop the carnage which is likely to come and the destruction of our own family. When this was being done, it was nothing but brainwashing by very good words of advice, concern and the so-called dharma. When this happened, all the Pandavas were sitting together. And Bhagwan Krishna was also there. Bhagwan Krishna knows when to talk and when not to talk. The difference between the wise and the otherwise is this. Wise people know when to talk and when to keep our mouth shut. And the otherwise people exactly do the other way around. So, Bhagwan Krishna said, Sanjay, we have heard your advice. Then he addressed the Pandavas. Pandavas, you all love me, you believe in me. Now what they will say? For example, I ask you all, please participate. Do you all love me? How dare you can say no in front of everybody? Out of hypocrisy at least you'll have to say, yes, we love you. The moment I have purchased you, like Bhagwan Krishna said to Pandavas, you all believe in me? Of course. Then he said, Sanjay, on behalf of the Pandavas, I tell you, this war will be fought. You go and tell your blind king. We don't care. Naturally, he went away. Now what happened to these 5 Pandavas? The eldest one, Yudhishthir, is very firm in his resolution. His method of working was, first, plan your work and then work your plan. This is the Yudhishthir method of management. Don't go on just imagining and constantly changing. Spend whatever time you have to spend in planning. Thereafter, don't go on changing. Work it out. So there was no confusion because of the message given by Sanjay in the mind of Yudhishthir. Second was Bhim. Bhim was so clear in his life. He had taken a vow that I have to uproot the hand of that Dushasana, open his chest and take out the heart and drink the blood. That vow he has taken. Because Draupadi has taken a vow when her sari was being removed, that unless I am bathing my head in the blood of that Dushyasana, I will not tie my hair. Therefore she was keeping all the time her hair undone. So every time her husbands were looking at her, they were reminded, you cowards, you have no guts. See the greatness of that lady. And therefore Bhima has taken this vow, I will do that. And the description comes in Mahabharata. When he was put to the floor, his hand is uprooted by Bhima, opens his chest, takes out the heart like a coconut and starts drinking before everybody. Everybody shuddered and afraid of this terrible act. And then with that bloody hands, he goes and puts on the hair of Draupadi. So Bhima had no confusion what he has to do in his life. Now, the last two, Nakula Sahadev twins, they were the wisest one. How they are wisest one? Wise people are those who don't waste their time in thinking. Just take this example. Somebody washes your clothes and gives you properly ironed. Don't you like it? Of course we like it. Somebody cooks food for you and gives you at the right time. Don't you like it? Of course we like it. Somebody thinks for you. Why worry? See? So Nakula Sahadev were very clear that whatever is thought and decided by our eldest brother is perfectly right. So just follow him. If you want to be happy in life, take this advice from Bhagavad Gita. Be the follower and relax. The moment you become the leader, you have nothing but all the blames of the world. So Nakul Sahadev had no problem. So this kind of advice from Sanjaya did not create any confusion in their mind. So out of the five, Yudhishthira firm out of wisdom. Bhima firm out of commitment. Nakula and Sahadev, they were firm out of surrender. Now who remains is Arjun Singh. They were Kshatriyas, no? Arjun Singh remains. And all the problems are created by the Arjun Singh and not by the four fellows. Now what is the problem? Problem is, Arjuna started thinking on a topic which doesn't deserve any attention to be given. This is called in Narad Bhakti Sutra as Dussangaha Sarvathaiva Tyajyaha. We should never take resort to the wrong company in our life. What happens? Many a times we get confused only because we go into the wrong company and collect the wrong information, and because of that, instead of clarity of understanding, we create confusion in understanding. One or two examples will make this point clear. If we have to take some decision, how we should do? First of all, yourself work out all the possibilities sincerely and select a person in whom you have faith, in whom you have no doubt about his integrity, and in whom you know that he is the authority and capable of guiding our destiny. Then go to that person, present your problem, and then hold on to the advice given by him. But what we do? We go for guru shopping. Like when we go for shopping, in this shop you go, how much this idol costs? Crystal idol. Oh, this costs 20,000 rupees. 20,000 rupees, too much. We go to other one. How much it costs? 2,000 rupees. How come? Oh, that fellow is cheating you. And I am the only right kind of trader. And in this manner, this fellow goes and gets so confused. As a result, he comes back without purchase. Now, same thing happens with reference to the advice. The other day, one lady came and she said, Swamiji, I am so confused, I don't know what to do. I went to so many Mahatmas and everybody has given me a mantra and now I am confused and I don't remember which mantra is given by whom and what to do with that. So please help me. So I said, I'll give you also one more mantra. See, therefore, when this wrong kind of thoughts were presented to Arjun, he should have dropped them like the other four brothers did. But he did not do that. When all of them retired for the night to prepare next day to go to the battlefield, what happened? That inoculum of the confused state of thoughts started working in the mind of Arjun. The other four brothers were very comfortable, had good sleep, got up in the morning, very fresh and ready to fight the war. But Arjun, whole night he was thinking on that. After all, this is a war within the family. And in this, who is going to win and who is going to lose? The loss and the gain will be within the family. But definitely there has to be a bloodshed. And in the first chapter of Gita, all the arguments given by Arjun are verbally, word by word, picked up from the words of Sanjay, which were related to him. If you study Mahabharata, you will get it. And as a result, he started working on those wrong line of thinking. And when he was thus working on that wrong line of thinking, in the morning when he got up, he was totally confused. Although he was confused, he did not accept. The reason is, he saw all the four brothers inspired to go and fight the war. But Arjuna has started developing a crack in his personality. And what is the crack in the personality? Crack in the personality is lack of self-confidence. A person who has lack of self-confidence, such a person can never attain anything in life. It is said, if you want to destroy somebody, create an element of suspicion and doubt in his mind. Suppose, don't do this, I am just giving an example. Suppose you want to destroy your neighbor. Please don't do this. Swamiji, we are waiting for this mantra. It's wonderful. Today's Bhagavad Gita is most wonderful. You have given the highest advice. Suppose you want to destroy your neighbor, what you have to do? You don't do anything. Create chaos and confusion among the family members of your neighbor. So one day when your neighbor comes, Namaste ji, how are you? He is surprised. This fellow is saying Namaste to me. Actually, I never wanted to say anything because it is your family affair. What should I do? I can't do anything. But after all, I am your neighbor. We stayed together for 30 years. But I didn't expect this thing from your brother about you. What happened? No, it's okay. I don't want to create fight in your family. And go away. Now that fellow is working on that. And once he starts working on that, anything his brother does, I think that neighbor what he told has some meaning. In this manner, the peace and tranquility and understanding among the family members is destroyed. Friends, remember, we stay together not because of love. We stay together in an atmosphere of mutual trust. We love even dogs. But the man and woman, children and parents can stay together only under the atmosphere of mutual trust. The moment the trust is gone, there is no possibility of staying together. Now, Arjuna has started working on the decision taken by everybody against the decision because he has started doubting. But what our uncle said seems to be right. And therefore, without the self-confidence, he comes on the battlefield. And when he comes on the battlefield, then the Bhagavad Gita begins. Now, there are two main characters in the first chapter that will help us in understanding the human mind when we are facing the challenge of our life. Friends, Bhagavad Gita is meant for those who have jumped into the battle of life and who want to lead their life on the war footings, not living because we are unable to die. For such pessimists, Bhagavad Gita is not addressed. Therefore, those who are having the fatalist view of life, जो होगा भगवान की दया से होगा, for such people, Bhagavad Gita is not. Remember, if you want to die, listen to Bhagavad. Because after listening Bhagavad, Parikshit died. The truth, I am not imagining. This is truth. So those who want to die, listen to Bhagavad. And after Bhagavad you listen, then watch around. Kitne aaye the, kitne bache. Narayan. Acha. And if you want to live life, then come on the Kurukshetra. In Sikkim TV, they have interviewed me. There was some kind of program. So the phones will come from the listeners and they will ask, Swamiji, we have got this question, please reply. So one question one person has asked, his question was, Swamiji, how can we accept Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetra and there is a war? How can the Dharma support the war? I said, look here, you have to analyze it in a proper manner. What is that? Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetra means Kshetre, Dharma Kuru. That is the meaning. Wherever you are placed by the Lord, in that situation you remain righteous and attain success. This is the message of Gita. Therefore, when we attain success through the righteous means, then alone our success is able to stand for a long period of time. And when the success is gained by the wrong means, as Dhritarashtra did, then the calamity is bound to be. So, one character that we will analyze is Dhritarashtra, second is Arjuna, and the third one is Duryodhana. So, these three characters tell us our different modes, how we operate in this world. So, in the very first verse of Gita, it is attributed to Dhritarashtra, and the most wonderful part, out of the 700 verses in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, only one verse is attributed to Dhritarashtra. And what happened to him after listening the whole Bhagavad Gita? Nowhere anything is mentioned. Bhagavad Gita is heard by many people. First, Arjuna was the listener, Bhagwan Sri Krishna was the speaker. First pair. The second pair was, Sanjay was the listener and with the grace of Bhagwan Vedavyasa, he listened from Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Second pair. Third pair, Dhritarashtra was the listener and Sanjay was the speaker. Three pairs. Fourth pair, in Satsang, Mahatma is the speaker and audience is the listener. Now, out of these four pairs, what happened to Arjuna after listening to Bhagavad Gita? There is a clear-cut confession or the statement. What happened to Sanjay after listening to Bhagavad Gita? He himself tells. Toward the end of Gita, we'll see then. What happened to Dhritarashtra after listening to whole Bhagavad Gita? Nowhere there is any mention because nothing happened. Now the fourth one. We are going for satsang for last 30, 40 years. But people don't appreciate my greatness. The tragedy of my satsang is, people don't take the benefit of my wisdom. People don't take the benefit of my knowledge. I tell them, youngsters, please come, take knowledge freely available. But what happens the moment I go, like the Odomos comes and the mosquitoes run away. Wherever I go, the youngsters run away. I don't know where our country is going. The same question is asked by the youngsters when they see us. Therefore, friends, when the whole Bhagavad Gita was told, nothing around Arjuna changed. Nothing changed. Then he changed himself. So Bhagavad Gita gives us a technique by which we make ourselves competent so that the world becomes not potent to destroy us. Friends, the strength of the world is borrowed from our weakness. If you are weak, then the world has to be strong. And therefore, it is very essential that we work out the whole philosophy and practice in our life. So let us see how Dhritarashtra inaugurates Bhagavad Gita for all of us. He asks a question, the only verse attributed to him. Dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuitsavaha mamaka pandavaschaiva kimakurvata Sanjaya. Hey Sanjay, I'll first translate it only in English so that to understand the import. The purport will be told later. So he says, hey Sanjay, desirous of fighting the war, my children and the children of Pandu, they came together and what they did. This is the question. Now before we analyze this question, let us find out the position of this question in the total scheme of the Mahabharata war. Dhritarashtra asked Sanjay this question not on the first day. This is asked on the 10th day. And on the 10th day, there was a great event that has taken place. On the 10th day, Bhishmacharya has fallen to the arrows of Arjuna, which was an impossible situation. And that time, this Dhritarashtra was totally shaken. And as a result of this, he asked this question to Sanjay. And therefore, his question is not asking only the events which are taking place on the battlefield. Because he being the king, every day, how many people died, how many horses were killed, how many elephants were killed, how many chariots were destroyed, the total account was sent to him for his perusal. In Mahabharata, everything comes in detail. So he was knowing what is happening on the battlefield. And yet he asked a question. Therefore, let us analyze the very question. Question is asked for many reasons. First, question is asked to assess the knowledge of a person to whom the question is asked. Like in the school, the question paper is given to the student and the question is asked. What is the capital of China? Now the child doesn't know. He says, now what to do? What is the capital of China? How does it matter? Koi bhi ho, kya farak padta hai? I am going to die only in Bombay. Why bother about China? But he has to answer the question. So he writes, sir, you know very well. That's it. So this question which was asked, it was asked to evaluate whether the student knows or not. So this is one purpose of the question. Second purpose of the question is, a question is asked to get the knowledge. Where from you have come? I have come from Borobandar. Acha, acha. Simple question, simple answer. Now the third question is asked. How come you are late? Now how come you are late? This question need not be answered because this is not a question. This is an objection. So any question can have different shades. One is the evaluation of the person to whom the question is asked. Second is a straight question answer. Third is an objection. And the fourth thing is the surprise. I can't believe this can happen. So, Dhritarashtra's question had this surprise in his mind. What was the surprise? Surprise was, nobody could ever believe that Bhishma Pitahama will fall to the arrows of Arjuna or anybody. He was the most powerful warrior of his time. None was parallel to him. And another problem was, Pitama, Bhishma and this Karna, they were always at loggerheads. And there the prestige issue of both of them. Bhishmacharya very clearly told Duryodhana that if you want me to lead your army, in my army Karna should not come. Had Bhishmacharya and Karna joined hands together, there was no way but to receive defeat by the Pandavas. But the prestige issue within the party politics. And as a result, Karna said, I will not go to the battlefield till Bhishma is working as the commander-in-chief. Now see the prestige issue. And who is benefited? The other party is benefited. Therefore, friends, if we have clarity of vision, for what we are working? Are we working for the nation or we are working for the party? Which is more important? Parties have been formed only for destruction. The other day in Bombay only, I was giving a talk, we must in KC College, long time back, I think 96 or 95. And for the inauguration, one very important person, I don't know his name, he came and in that he said, I will request Swamiji that if this message of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavad Gita is passed on to our politicians, maybe they will change and the fortune of our country will change. So, when my turn came to talk, I said, we all must be thankful to our great politicians because they have not yet touched Bhagavad Gita. Wherever, whatever they have touched, they have destroyed. Whether it is their own party or it is their own country. If they will touch Bhagavad Gita, they will destroy Bhagavad Gita also. See, so this Dhritarashtra, he was surprised. How come Bhishmacharya has fallen? And out of this surprise on the 10th day, this question is asked by Dhritarashtra to Sanjay. How can this happen? Because I know what trick I have played. You have gone to the Pandavas and I have given you such a message that they are bound to get confused. Friends, a confused person cannot perform with confidence. Confusion and confidence cannot go together. If you want to achieve anything in life, good or bad, you have to be confident in life. We may condemn the terrorists, the suicide bombers, and we are doing that. But imagine what kind of confidence, courage, and total surrender that they have, whatever they are doing for. It is not the job of any Tom, Dick and Harry. Therefore, if we really want to achieve success in life, we have to function in our life with confidence, deleting all the confusion in performance. So, Dhritarashtra was asking Sanjay, I sent you to create confusion and see that the within party politics should disintegrate the people, and out of that some we will include in our party and they make our party big. Bottle remains content remains the same, only the labels go on changing. Earlier I was in party A, working for the nation. But the party doesn't want me to work for the nation because they don't give me the ticket. They are giving me a ticket for the hell. I will show them. So I go to another party where I get a ticket. And then we think of talking and working for the nation. So, this kind of within party politics, this kind of creation of mutual distrust within the family is the cause of disintegration either in the family or in a society or anywhere. Therefore, friends, it is very, very essential that whatever we are doing, let us do the right way and with confidence. Now, the next step. When he asked this question, what is that because of which today we have this situation? We were definitely confident that we are going to get a thumping majority. But when the election results were declared, I think there has to be booth capture. If I am defeated, all the possible causes are planted on others. And if I am victorious, people have voted in favor of us. But Indian people have also become very smart now. What they do? One time this party, next time that party. Because they know both of them are partly responsible for their miseries. So continue. हर एक को chance दे दो. So, now the meeting of why there was a total debacle in the elections recently conducted in this place or that place. Then all the people stood together hanging. And then there are two types of reactions. One blames others. It is because of you. You never listened to me. He said, no, it is because of you. And after they fight together and then they come to a conclusion, I think we have to go and work at a grassroots level. Earlier they were working at the shoot level. Now they want to work at a grassroots level. So, Dhritarashtra started inquiry. How come we have suffered defeat? Impossible. Now, in reply to this surprise, Sanjay begins to answer. So, what was the problem Dhritarashtra had? Dhritarashtra has one problem. He had overconfidence. His confidence was, we have so many battalions at our disposal. All the great warriors of the time, such as Dronacharya, Bhishmacharya, Krupacharya, Shalva, and all of them were from the side of the Kauravas. And thereafter, I have created sufficient confusion in the minds of the Pandavas so that they don't fight with the self-confidence and there is a doubt in their participation in the war. The total net result was, it was such a strategy planned by Dhritarashtra that Pandavas were destined to be defeated. And therefore he is surprised. When I have planned such a strategy, how it has happened? And out of this surprise and frustration, he asked this question. Otherwise, can this question be valid? On the cricket ground, the South African team and the Indian team, when they came to play the one-day international, what they did? Is this question valid? They have not come there for taking food. When they have come on the battlefield, they have come to fight the war. So this question is not valid. And therefore, this question has got this inner psychological depth that whenever we have taken things for granted, something wrong goes and then we are surprised. How can this happen? I have never failed in my life. But how did I fail? Therefore, friends, one of the most essential message Bhagavad Gita tells us, never take things for granted in life. Never, never. Every step in life has to be perfectly put. See, I put on this wooden khadao and walk. So, every time people ask one or the other question, why you put on that khada? So I give the reply as it comes. One place somebody asked me, Swamiji, why do you put on these wooden sandals? I said, because nobody steals them away. And they put 2 rupees on that, do namaskar, and I get bidi pan ka kharcha nikal jata. So one person asked, we were somewhere, Swamiji, I am surprised, why you put on that thing? And he was a very sincere seeker, and he has never laughed in his life. So, to such a people, why to break his vow? So I said, I will not make him laugh. Then I told him, look here. This Kadao tell us, if you put on these wooden sandals, you can't run. Then, you have to face the challenges of life. Swamiji, I think it is right. When you get a serious answer, the serious person is seriously happy. When we have to face the challenges of life, we should have confidence and not overconfidence. This Dhritarashtra suffered from the impact of overconfidence, and when he was not able to win the war, the surprise came. How can this happen? And in reply to this, Sanjay begins. He says, it happened before the war started. And in that time, it was a very peculiar condition. Your son Duryodhan, what he did, he saw the array of the Pandava army, and he was watching the total array of the Pandava army, and he was watching his own people, and after having seen that, he went and approached Dronacharya. And after having approached Dronacharya, he spoke to Dronacharya. Now from here, the character of evil-minded, selfish individual is depicted in the character of Duryodhana. Now what Duryodhana starts? He goes to the battlefield, the war is yet to start, there was another 2-3 hours till the war begins. So all the enemies have come together, organized themselves and waiting for the whistle to go. Now run, like that. Because they have to start the war at a particular time. Now that time Duryodhana was taking a walk and observing all the people, and after having observed, he comes to his guru, Dronacharya, and says, Pashyaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamum Vyudham Drupadaputrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Hey Acharya, see, when we talk to somebody, how we begin our speech, that determines our character. How you dress and how you address tells your bringing up in a society, in your house. For example, if we have to talk to a servant, do we say, Servant Mahoday, will you please get a glass of water for me if it is not inconvenient for you? No. We start, hey, get water. We don't even address him. Here, Duryodhana begins his speech with a verb. Whenever any sentence begins with a verb, it is an insult to the person to whom it is addressed. Very important. Never begin a sentence with a verb. When you begin a sentence with a verb, you are ordering, you are disrespecting the dignity of a person to whom you are talking. And if it comes to talking to the elder, if it comes to talking to the teacher, we cannot start our speech by directly a verb. So here, Duryodhana, out of his arrogance and out of his selfishness, he says, Pasha. To Guru, one never talks in this language. Now what was the reason? Why he was talking like this? The reason was, Duryodhana had all the doubts and no trust about the integrity of Dronacharya. Because everybody knew Dronacharya liked Arjuna the most. And for making Arjuna the best archer of his time, when this Ekalavya came, his thumb was taken away so that the number one position of Arjuna is maintained. So his love for Arjuna was very clearly known. And because of that, Duryodhana had a doubt whether this Dronacharya will fight to kill the enemy that Arjuna is, or he is going to befool me. Friends, whenever you work in an atmosphere of no trust, whenever you work in an atmosphere of suspicion, you can never enjoy your own performance. This is the basis of life's joy. If you have to suppose take food and you are sitting together and a child comes of that family. Mummy, wait, don't start the food. What happened? Do you know what happened today in the school? What happened? You know, our teacher was teaching us the white chemical powders. What they told? See, they showed us NaCl, salt, then they showed us urea, and then they showed us sugar, and then they told us also the potassium cyanide. And all of them look alike when they are powder form. So you know what I did? I brought all the four of them. You know, this potassium cyanide, they don't allow us to touch. But I somehow managed. And now the problem is, I have forgotten in which what was. And I have left it here. Did you use any one of them? That doubt is enough. They will throw away the food because you cannot function with confidence when you are under the influence of doubt and suspicion. So, Duryodhana had doubt and suspicion about the integrity of Dronacharya. Friends, it is very essential to have this doubt-free relationship with anybody if you want to enjoy the company of anybody in this world. The moment doubt enters your psyche, you are going to be destroyed by that very virus of doubtful relationship. So, Duryodhana says, Pasya Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamum. Look at the great array of the army of these Pandavas, Panduputranam Mahatim Chamum. And you know what happened? He says to Acharya, Dronacharya, Vyudham Drupadaputrena Tava Shishyena Dhimata. Another sense of doubt is injected. Therefore, we should study Bhagavad Gita with the background of the Mahabharata, then only you understand the depth of it. If you take only these 18 chapters and try to meddle with, you will get lost. Now the story is, Dronacharya and Drupad, they were studying together in the Guru's Gurukul. And Dronacharya was a Brahmin and awfully poor. And Drupad was the son of a king, and therefore all the royal luxuries were with him. And when they were playing together, studying together, in one of those childhood emotional onslaughts, Drupad said to Dronacharya, don't worry, my friend, when I grow up, when I become a king, I will give you half the kingdom. Children make so many promises. And these two people grew, but Dronacharya did not grow. He continued to keep holding on to that promise. And when he was thus growing, his son was born, Ashwathama, and there was nothing to feed him, no milk. So his wife Krupi says, you told me once about that Drupada. So, why don't you go and ask him? He will help you. He has promised you when you were together in the school. So, Dronacharya says, okay, if you tell, I'll go. And Dronacharya goes there and tells, Drupada, my dear friend, give me half the kingdom. So, Drupada starts laughing. Pagal kutte ne kaata hai. He said this sentence in English, Hindi. On what ground you are asking this? Do you remember you have given me a word when we were together in the school? He said, don't be childish, Dronacharya. I respect you because you are a Brahmin. But don't be foolish. In childhood we say so many things. That doesn't mean they are to be honored. And now this becomes a prestige issue for Dronacharya. So Drupada says, if you want, every day I will send you 1 liter of milk. That's the problem. At the most, keep one buffalo or a cow. Don't imagine to ask for half the kingdom. Do you know what are you asking? Now with that insult and attitude of revenge and vengeance, Dronacharya comes back. Harbors that in his heart. And when he has trained the Pandavas and Kauravas, when the question of Guru Dakshina comes, he tells Arjun, if you want to give me something, go and capture him alive and bring before me. So Arjun does it successfully. Drupada comes, and when he is brought tied before Dronacharya, that time Dronacharya, like every foolish Brahmin does, he did the same thing. I forgive you. So that he is humiliated. And in that humiliation, so first vengeance was taken by Dronacharya, and a humiliated person will never go cool. That is why you may put the criminals in the jail, but after coming out of the jail, do you think that they become alright? Because all those 10, 15 years they were there, they were not meditating, they were planning how again I can do something. So, when he was thus humiliated and left, do you think Drupada went and sat in meditation? No. He started conducting a great yajna. And in that yajna, he was blessed with Draupadi and her brother, who was the army chief of the Pandavas. And he was born out of that yajna only for one purpose, to kill Dronacharya. So Drupada Putra was known to be the death for Dronacharya, and yet Dronacharya has taught all the archery to him. Now see the whole scene. Now to that Dronacharya, another injection of lack of confidence and mutual trust is done by this Duryodhana, and he says, hey Acharya, look at the great army of the Pandavas, and you know who is their chief? The one who is born to kill you. When you create suspicion and doubt in your own subordinates, it is you who are responsible for your failure. Friends, please remember, if we want to head any institution, any organization, or even a family, what is the success of the head of the family or an organization? Only one success. If he is able to create a feeling of belonging to that institution by every member of that organization, and he stands apart and gives total credit by mutual trust and surrender to the totality, then alone he is successful. The leader is not meant to take jhadu in the hand. He is meant to motivate the people with his inborn inspiration. But if the leader himself has doubt about his own people, if he starts creating an inferiority complex among the ranks who are working for him, he is creating his own grave. And exactly this is what happened with Duryodhana. Instead of accepting Dronacharya as the great archer, instead of trusting him that when he is fighting from our side, he is going to help us, Instead of that, he started doubting and informing him that you are now standing against the Drupada Putra who was your disciple. And also remember, he was born out of the Yajna Kunda only to kill you. And thereafter, he starts enumerating the great warriors in the side of Pandavas. He says, Atra Shura Maheshwasa Bhima Arjuna Samayudhi Jayudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharataha Drushtaketusche Kitanaha Kashirajascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shaibhyascha Narapungavaha Yudha Manuscha Vikrantaha Uttamojascha Viryavan Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharataha. He goes on enumerating a long list of the great warriors who were supporting the cause of Pandavas. It was already known to Dronacharya, and yet he is reminding them. That means be alert and work with sincerity, as if his sincerity was doubtful. Thereafter, he understood that probably I have spoken beyond my requirement. Friends, many a times we say such words that thereafter we start feeling frustrated because of our own performance. This happens in every family. Sometimes the father is angry. He loses his all balance and understanding sense of proportion. And he goes on talking anything that comes to his mouth. And thereafter, when the reaction comes from the children, and then they start feeling, I wish I should not have talked, but it is too late. And then we want to patch up. Friends, please remember, once a wound is made by words on your heart, it cannot be rectified throughout life. Therefore, always we have to be very careful what we talk, to whom we talk, how we talk, and with what attitude we talk. These are all the essential ingredients of communication. Now, Duryodhana has lost his proportion because of suspicion, lack of integrity, and said so many things which he should not have said to his own guru. And then to patch up the whole matter, he says, Asmakam tu Vishishtaye Tani Bodha Dvijottama Nayaka Mama Sainyasya Sanyartham Tan Bhavimite. Hey Dvijottama, another arrow hit at Dronacharya. This is very important topic. See, teaching is one thing, and practicing in life is another thing. You must have come across many very good students. Let us take medical profession. The student will be gold medalist, first class first, all through in so many subjects. After having completed their MBBS or MD or whatever they do, if they have to go and face the patient and start their practice independently, they are a total failure. Then such intelligent gold medalists, what they do? They don't practice medicine. They join colleges as the lecturer in medicine or the lecturer in anatomy because teaching is not risky. That is why we are teaching. No risk. But when it comes to practice in life, so Duryodhana says, Hey Dvijottama, as a teacher of archery and other warfare, you are excellent, no doubt about it. But have you ever fought any war? See? So the very ability of Dronacharya was again and again doubted. Friends, just watch the human mind. In one house I went, and that lady of the house was doing something in the kitchen. So she told her daughter, grown-up daughter, not a baby, about 18, 20, 22 like that. Hey, look here, Swamiji has come, give him a glass of water till I come from the kitchen and just talk to him. She said, okay, mom. And when she was bringing water and giving to me, comment of mummy. Mummies cannot keep quiet. Comment of mummy. Comment is what? Don't break the glass when you bang it on the table, okay? Was it necessary to say? So she gave me the glass and she said, Swamiji, have you seen the comment of mummy? He is so fully convinced, in this world, I cannot even breathe myself. And when we are just constantly banging somebody about his ability, about his performance, even that person is great, he will start losing confidence. That is not the right way to deal with the situation. So here, Duryodhan Maharaj is telling Dronacharya ji, Dvijottama, it is very easy to teach archery. But when it comes to facing the bullets and face the army, then your all knowledge, etc., becomes totally null and void. There you don't require only knowledge, you require courage. Courage is possible in the Kshatriyas, not in the Brahmins. Therefore, he says, Dvijottama. He is again and again reminded about his impossibility to be a successful supporter of the Kauravas. So, Nayaka mava sainyasya sanyartham tan ravimite. So now I shall tell you the great people from our side so that you know about it. And then he starts enumerating. Bhavan bhishmascha karnascha krupascha samitinjayaha ashvathama vikarnascha saumadatti tathaivacha annecha bhavaha shura madarthe tyakta jivitaha nana shastra praharanaha sarve yuddha visharataha. When you insult somebody, then you want to have amul treatment. The same thing Duryodhana does. So after he has insulted Dronacharya in a very systematic word by word, then he says, in our side, who are the great warriors? Of course, your great self. See, first of all, abuse. And then start talking greatness. If you see the sequence, Bhavan means your great self. Bhishmascha, in the right order of enumeration of all the people, we normally start from the top man, then come to the bottom, isn't it? When we have to enumerate the people of a family, we don't start with a baby. This is a baby yesterday born. No. We start, he is the grandfather and he had these 4 children and these are their 4 wives and these are their children. This is how we enumerate the people in any family. We start from the top. Here, he should have started telling who are the great warriors from our side. First, Bhishmacharya. But he wanted to paint and try to lessen the tension created by him. Therefore he says, Bhavan, your great self, Bhishmascha, Bhishmacharya, Karna, Krupa, and Ashwathama, Vikarna, Saumadatti, and thus there are many of them. Now see the arrogance. Annecha bhavaha shura, madarthe tyakta jivitaha. Do you know, Dronacharya Maharaj, all these people have come for my sake. That means, Dronacharya has no standing, Bhishmacharya has no standing, and who was the most important person pulling the votes of the total vote bank is I and I alone. Whenever this happens, we create cleavage, disintegration within our own community. So, madarthe tyakta jivita. Actually, if you see, all those people who have come and joined from the Kaurava side, one of the most important reason was, many of them were under the obligation of Duryodhana, including Bhishmacharya and Dronacharya. And many of them joined because Bhishmacharya, Dronacharya were from Kaurava side, they joined. One story I'll tell you about this. How this Duryodhana played tricks like any shrewd politician plays to win over the members of the other party. Shalya was the brother of Madri, who was the mother of these two twins, Nakula and Sahadev. And they have taken for granted that Mama to apne hi taraf se ladenge, Mama is going to fight from our side, taken for granted. And when Shalya started coming and approaching and reaching, he was not given due recognition and he was taken for granted, ghar ka hi aadmi hai. And as a result, what this Duryodhana did, when he was coming, he has to halt so many places, every place he has made elaborate, comfortable arrangement for the stay of Shalya. And when he came, it is Duryodhana who went to receive him and said, Mama, you have come. See, it doesn't matter whether you are Pandava's mama or my mama, we are all together. How was your journey? It was all comfortable. So Shalya says, no, my children, my bhanjas have done everything well. Everywhere the arrangements were so comfortable, I had no trouble. Then Duryodhana says, Mama, actually, they are all busy with so many things. So I thought when my mama is coming, why shouldn't I take care? So I have made all those arrangements which you have already enjoyed. See. And then, after that, he said, Mama, I request you, you be my charioteer. Now tell how shrewd this person is. And thereafter, Shalya came to join the ranks with Pandavas, but he was corrupted on the way, one way or the other, by this Duryodhana. And then he joined ranks with the Kauravas. See the wonderful thing. This is how a selfish person, totally dedicated to selfish gain, doesn't spare anything by which he should win and he must win. The single-pointed dedication of the wicked people, if it is practiced by the good people, the whole political situation of the world will change. Therefore, Madarthe Tyakta Jevitaha, all people have come here for dying for me, because I am very important. Including you have come for my sake. And how are they? Sarve Yuddha Visharadaha. They are expert in the warfare. Now, after having said this, again Duryodhana starts comparing. And in this comparison he says, if we want to compare our strength, the strength of Pandavas is no doubt tremendously high. But ours is also not bad because you are all with us. Whenever we function with this negative attitude in life, understand the intentions are not pure. Negative attitude is born only when the intentions are not pure. When your intentions are not pure, you cannot have the self-confidence. When self-confidence is lacking, success is never possible. And in this manner, we have seen how the psyche of Dhritarashtra was and how the psyche of Duryodhana was. Now the third important character that is presented is a goody-goody personality in Arjuna. Such goody-goody people are very, very dangerous. So, how they become dangerous for themselves and for others is to be learned from the character of Arjuna, and we go still further analyzing how the human mind functions, and if we rectify our bonnet points, success is guaranteed in this life. How about it? We'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.